Canada Electric Vehicle Association on YouTube, here where we talk about electric vehicles and solar and how they can make our lives cleaner, greener, and better. We always like to talk to companies who've gone down the path of employing electric vehicles and what they do. And today we're going to talk about Geazone and Andrew Mitchell here in Victoria, British Columbia, who've had a big influence on the rest of the industry doing deliveries in the region.
Yeah, I'm Andrew Mitchell, founder, CEO of Geazone Eco-Courier, zero emission last mile delivery company based out of Victoria, BC. And yeah, we've been operating since 2012. And yeah, now we've just branched into our vehicle behind us, which is the new BrightDrop Zevo 600. And yeah.
Good. Do you have a guiding principle or a mission statement for your company?
Yeah, well, our mission is to reduce CO2 through our delivery vehicles, and that's our mission. Well, I used to race mountain bikes professionally, then retired through head injuries, and basically backed out of the sport and came out with a business plan while I was going to school. Started with electric assist cargo tricycles downtown Victoria, and then within about 6 months, 8 months, we expanded into first Nissan Leafs to further, the range of what we were doing on a zero emission delivery perspective. And then from there, yeah, we've just grown and seen how far we can deliver and who wants to join the program to reduce our footprint from a carbon perspective. And yeah, it's been quite the journey.
And where do you see your business going in the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, business in the next 5 to 10 years. We have quite a bit of growth that we're looking at right now, and some opportunities to expand across Canada and throughout the US as well. So kind of a North American expansion plan, get into some key markets, and continue doing what we're doing here on the west coast of Canada. Currently in the fleet, we've gone from over the years where there was only a consumer vehicle available for us to use from a zero emission delivery perspective. Now we finally branched into the commercial side, where in the last probably 18 months to 24 months, now you have the commercial capability from a electric vehicle standpoint. And we've obviously jumped right in to get those vehicles aboard. And right now we're in the midst of weeding out our Ford Lightning vehicles and our Ford E-Transits, and we're branching into the vehicles behind me, which is the BrightDrop Zevos, and continuing our path forward with that. And as well, we have our mid-miles, picking up from fulfillment centers and doing freight with our Peterbilt 5-ton electric truck as well. So that's kind of been in the last 8 months. We've added that into the fleet and been doing testing with it. And that's sort of our freight component in the moment.
And historically, like, can you walk through, you start with pedal bikes, the Leaf,
yeah,
kind of walk forward?
Yeah, sure, okay. So yeah, we've had a pretty big career of zero emission vehicles. We started with electric assist cargo tricycles as well as bikes. So we were doing messenger, courier envelope type work with the bikes, and then from the cargo trikes we were doing almost freight, which was interesting. Then from there we expanded into our first Nissan Leaf. Our clients, they want us to go further, deliver more parcels, and we needed more space. So the Nissan Leaf, we started ripping the seats out of it in the back and kind of framing up a solution that would allow us to deliver as many parcels and boxes as possible. And from there, then we started expanding into, we started demoing our first Tesla Model S and branching up to the Nanaimo, Campbell River region and seeing how far we could kind of push the technology. And then from there, we added Tesla Model X's, more Tesla Model Y's, Tesla Model 3's. We had the largest Tesla fleet in the west coast of BC for a number of years. I forget how many we had, but it was up there. And then we expanded for a brief period with hydrogen vehicles with Toyota. So we had the largest hydrogen fleet in North America, but it was cars. And then simultaneously at the same time that was happening, we started seeing the ability for us to get into a truck. So we could move away from a car and an SUV into a truck. And then the E-Transits came out as well. So we started transitioning away from the hydrogen cars into electric trucks and electric vans. And then shortly after that, within about another 12 months, these vehicles became available and we started branching into a commercial step van for delivery purposes. And somewhere in there, I think around 2016, we actually launched our first Smith electric trucks as well, which were more of a 3-ton truck. Unfortunately, Smith went under and they went bankrupt, so we had to sell the batteries in the used marketplace, which was an interesting dynamic. And yeah, so that was a lot of fun, big journey over the last 12 years for the business. So in total, I think we've gone over and delivered with over 200 vehicles. So yeah, it's been pretty significant growth for the company. And now with these vehicles, we can actually deliver 5 times, 10 times as much from a cubic perspective in the EV, and so we need less vehicles. So it's more cost effective for the company, and yeah, it's been great. We're looking at long haul as well, like sort of starting in the first mile segment, but that's kind of a bit out of scope still for the time being, just because the infrastructure isn't there. So I've been talking with BC Hydro and trying to work with them on the first MCS unit, and so I'm pretty excited about that. It's something that I was the first person to approach them about it. That was a couple months ago, and that actually wants to get it put in. So we're looking at some vehicles and trucks that are going to be doing some pretty big loads and distances when we have the infrastructure available. So we'll need support on that. It's a really big undertaking, and as I've seen just with the CCS and Chatamo and NACS, you need a lot of support and space to be able to put those in. So yeah, we're gonna try to continue working down that path, but right now it's just the last mile, mid-mile that we're focusing on, that we can actually do zero emission. So yeah, it's always kind of been, we've been really on the edge with the company in terms of like what we can actually do and trying to push the boundaries. And we started our first fully electric zero emission delivery route with our Tesla Model X's and trailers out to Tofino in 2019, but we were demoing in 2018. So we were doing that, trying that route out to Campbell River with the trailer, Tesla Model X in 2018, and then out to Tofino Ukilit as well from a demo perspective. So we've had specific clients that basically, we said, hey, can we take your guys' volume out that way for this week? We're going to do a demo to see if it's even possible. Got a lot of experience out of that, and further understood like what the capabilities are of the technology. And then from there, yeah, we got into 2019. We added 10 Model X's into the fleet, and kind of grew significantly across Vancouver Island. And then we accomplished a full zero emission to all the major cities on Vancouver Island with our electric vehicles. And then basically I said, okay, we set our sights on Vancouver. There's so many more large players in the market over there, and everything comes from Vancouver to the island. So we wanted to establish ourselves in that key market, and be able to start bringing stuff over for ourselves rather than through a third party or through another major carrier who is kind of working with us at the time as well. And start to compete with some of the big guys, UPS, FedEx, Purolator, Canada Post, which we're in direct competition with now, but at that time, we weren't really, because we didn't have an established point over on the Vancouver mainland. And then, of course, we launched in Vancouver January 2020, and we know the history on that. So, unfortunately, yeah, it was a rough landing into the mainland market. But yeah, within, I think we lost about 90% of the revenue in our business from our clients in COVID, and we grew the business back 200% more revenue within about 24 months from there, from the 2020 year. So yeah, it was a big undertaking, a lot of work, and now yeah, we're getting ready to grow into the next phase, and we just launched into Shopify and ShipStation. So we're allowing a lot of the merchants and local businesses to now utilize us through one platform and framework, which has further enhanced our ability to gain market share and spread zero emission deliveries throughout the marketplace, which is right now we're the only 100% electric delivery service here in BC of scale and size. So in North America, there is no one else that's 100% of zero emission of scale and size, and that's our next market that we want to go after. So I've been talking with the BC Hydro team to try and get a mega charger in place. It's funny to talk about when you hear it, but yeah, it's kind of chicken and the egg. So even with our Peterbilt, there is not one commercial EV charging station in all of BC to charge an electric truck, and so it's kind of on the onus of the businesses or the operators to figure that out. And I'm a big proponent in trying to push that into the public side. And we need assistance there as well. It's very expensive just to bring in the vehicles, let alone to start building out infrastructure and have land, and that's a whole different framework from a long distance travel. But mega chargers, what's needed to be able to facilitate that. So without mega chargers, with the current 250 kilowatt output or even 500 kilowatt output, some of them have in the States for the, it's just not really feasible. Taking 4 or 5 hours and paying a truck and a driver to sit there for that long is way too expensive. So you need something that's a 45-minute to an hour top up and then back on the road again. And there's some vehicles coming out. Tesla's got something. Mercedes has something coming out. And then we're working with the guys over at Peterbilt with their semi trucks, but they're not long haul capable. It's more mid-mile and last mile once again. So that's kind of where the balancing act is at the moment. And then from there, as the technology sort of develops over the next 5 years, coming into 2030, then you can start to see some of the heavy duty long haul applications become viable. And we want to be pushing on that front too. So as we started to kind of just work with the OEM and the manufacturers and doing financing with them or with our bank and institution. But as we grow, then the requirements for more capital or to bring in assets that were kind of outside of what the OEMs at the time were doing, that were non-OEM assets, you needed different lenders or institutions that would kind of help out with that. So some of the companies that we had successes, we worked with Jim Hasden Leasing on some. And we worked with the team at Enterprise Leasing as well. So both of them have been great to work with, and from there we're kind of doing a mix of stuff. We're financing, leasing, or just buying the asset outright. It depends on what we're trying to do at the time, and overall for the company, what direction we're going that year. So so this has been my dream vehicle since I started the company. Something I've always envisioned it kind of getting to, and when we first had the electric assist cargo tricycles, this was I knew it was going to be a very expensive vehicle, so we needed to grow the company in order to get there. And I saw it coming down the pipe. A decade later, we're here, so this is it. So we decided to go with the largest battery pack, largest cubic capacity vehicle that they had, and pretty amazing vehicle. We had one of our drivers when we first got them get over 800 kilometers in a day in one charge. So,
and how big is the battery?
I believe the battery is 173 kilowatt hour. So pretty next level when you're looking at what we were coming from with riding an electric cargo tricycle with about 1 kilowatt hour of battery underneath, and taking about 300-400 pounds in that. So now we're capable of taking over a ton in this, and some of the other units that we're looking at further down this year, in the 400s, it's about 1.5 tons capability. So pretty amazing technology, considering it cost what's the math and commercial rate? Let's call it, I don't know, $25 to go well over 500 kilometers on highway use, and then in city you can get up to 800 kilometers, as I mentioned. So
right. So the day-to-day running around town, because the average urban, speed is 35 kilometers or less when you average it out over the day.
Yeah. Keep in mind, when I drive the vehicle, I don't think I've ever gotten 800. I think I've gotten, into the 700s myself, just kind of demoing the vehicle with no payload. But some of the drivers we have are very good at hypermiling, and they're very good at driving. So I don't know how they do it, but they always, any of the vehicles that I get in that are of the fleet, I'm just demoing or trying them out or helping out or something like that. I always get 20-30% less than how the staff are driving them. So they always bug me about that. But I guess I don't have all the time they do. So anyways,
So how many bright drops do you have right now?
There's about 10 in the fleet at the moment.
Are you going to be getting more?
Yes. Yeah. We're probably, this year, I think we're getting another 10 or potentially 20 more here in BC. And then looking at a potential LA launch maybe this year. And if we did that, then we'd have another 20 to 30 units down there as well. So, this bright drop that we've got into all of our drivers, this was the preferred vehicle to drive during the winter and the snow. They said it was like driving a tank. You could go anywhere. It was so wide, very safe, very stable, and they had a lot of confidence in it. So we kind of knew that we hit the mark with the team, and there's a lot of excitement about this vehicle. So it's kind of the next step that we're moving with. We've also demoed some of the Rivian vans, the EDVs.
Yeah.
We've been looking at those just because some of the tariffs could potentially complicate stuff if we're moving down to the US market. So we're looking at Rivian as a potential option as well, but that's coming down the pipe. Not something we're doing today. And then we started adding, last year in the middle of the year in 2024, we added our first electric 5-ton. So we had those Smith trucks, which were 3 tons, and now the Peterbilt, which is our first electric 5-ton. That was a big step for the company and allowed us to get into the mid-mile freight game. So starting to provide zero emission deliveries from a fulfillment, distribution, or a storage facility to our sorting depots, where we can then push it out into a final last mile delivery phase and small parcel. So yeah, pretty big step to be able to encompass everything for a few of our clients, which is, I don't think it's being done yet from one specific provider. I think we're kind of the first on that front as well. So yeah, pretty excited about that.
Is there any question you'd wish I asked?
Yeah, would you do it all over again?
Yeah.
It has been a very exciting journey for me. I am very passionate about what I get to do, and when I retired from mountain biking, it's because I was kind of forced to. I didn't really want to. So yeah, it's been just, man, this has been my dream, and I can't wait to see where we are in the next 5-10 years. Like, I'm so excited. The technology that's coming out and the impact we can have in the environment is massive. So, from our size and what we're doing, I think we're doing some great stuff that not a lot of people are able to achieve just yet. I want them all to achieve it, because from a global perspective and on an environmental basis, we need a lot more of what we're doing. So, yeah.
And thank you, Andrew, for that terrific interview. We learned a lot there. And for all you rest of you out there, don't forget to like and subscribe to Victoria EV Association on YouTube. And stay in touch. We'll be adding more.